Hey, 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 happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah, as I am the founder and editor-in-chief of the Gaming Gang. So welcome aboard. Today is Monday, October 4th, 2021. This is live stream 698. That's right. Wednesday, we will hit live stream 700. Yowza. So tonight, I am going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Fate of Phantos, the Iridium Wars from House Imp Game Company and Mondo Games. It is, Imp House Game Company and Mondo Games. So that is what we're going to be taking a peek at tonight. So let's jump into a few different things. So first off, do want to mention that the Gaming Gang is sponsored by... It's like I'm on a... like hitting the wrong thing. All right, let's do it the normal way, and then we'll talk about the sponsor. Anyway, so I want to point out, if you like this video, by all means, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live right here on YouTube, it'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my first look at The Goonies. Never Say Die. Or my first look at Rift Force. Or yesterday's first look at Starfighter Tech Revolution. So yes, bunch of videos have been hitting outside of just the Dispatch. Get these out of the way here. There we go. So, got a lot going on with that. Also want to point out that when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, this is a live stream, so that means chat is available. Not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So far, first out the gate was the Motor City Madman tonight. Yes, the Madman's with us. Clint Gibson, Hunter Perkins, Boris is with us again. It's Mew is also with us in chat too. So right off the bat, we are off and running. Very cool. So let's get back down to it. The Gaming Gang has a sponsor. That's right, for most of this month. And how about we kick back and hear a word from our sponsor.
RockCon is back the weekend of October 22nd to the 24th in Rockford, Illinois. Come out for a great weekend of gaming, including historical, fantasy, and sci-fi miniatures, role-playing, war games, and a wide variety of games for the whole family. Buy and sell at the silent auction on Saturday. Vendors from around the region will be available for your shopping pleasure. Don't miss out on all the fun. Visit rock-con.com for details.
That's right. RockCon in Rockford, Illinois is sponsoring not only the Gaming Gang, but also the Dispatch as well. So this takes place October 22nd through the 24th. I will be there myself. I am going to go check this out for the first time. There is miniature gaming, war gaming, board games, role-playing games. So it pretty much scratches all the itches as far as I know. So I will, of course, report on RockCon and let you know what I thought. So, yes, they are our sponsors. So, by all means, check them out. If you are in the Midwest, I would definitely say take a peek. Consider coming out, joining us. All right. Also, do want to mention that we are in the midst of the Gaming Gang October Spooktacular 2021. What does that mean? It means each and every day you're going to have a brand new tabletop gaming related video on thegaminggang.com. And of course, here on YouTube as well. Now, it could be a first look, it could be a review, or of course, if it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, it's an episode of this. Ta-da! So, every single day you'll have at least one video to check out. So, visit thegaminggang.com. Also, do want to mention at 9 p.m. Central, every night this month, swing by thegaminggang.com because I'm hosting scary old time radio shows guaranteed to put a chill down your spine. So if you are into the spooky season, if you like Halloween, by all means, check them out. All righty. So I got a lot cooking tonight, and I want to point out something before we dive too deep into the news. The Madman says, sounds like RockCon would be a fun con to attend. Yeah, I think it's, it's smaller than that, but I don't know. Going to find out. I'm sure it's a few hundred people. Easy enough. There are some different events. I did talk to my contact, Greg Johnson, about it. And he said it's pretty easy to get into events too. And I look at it this way. I'm trying to get Elliot, my best friend, Elliot Miller, to go with and figure, even if we don't get into events and that, I can always bring stuff. You can always play. So I don't know. Who knows? He couldn't go to Gen Con. So who knows if he can go for a couple of days to RockCon. Anyway, do want to mention, I'm sure there are people who've never caught this show before. And I have to be very upfront. I'm not going to say I'm irritated. I'm just, the way this show operates is about the first half, sometimes longer, of the show is devoted to tabletop gaming news. And sometimes we'll get into a conversation about something else. Like last week, there was a relatively long, I don't want to call it a diatribe, but I did talk about the possibility that we were going to see a 6th edition of Dungeons and Dragons in 2024. And then I moved on to a first look at Scarlet Citadel from Kobold Press. That's how the show works. That's how it operates. First half is tabletop gaming news. Second half, we're taking a look at a tabletop game. After the fact, usually within about 30 minutes of this stream ending, if you're on YouTube and you're watching after it's streamed, you will have show notes that will actually have timestamps so you can jump past stuff. You can jump past the news if you want. I'm going to point out, I am so tired of people who come out of the woodwork. They are not content creators. They have their YouTube account, 0 subscribers, 0 content. They normally don't even bother to even have playlists of stuff. And then they're going to tell me how I suck and this stream is bullshit and I can't believe you made me wait 50 minutes before I got to see Scarlet Citadel and blah, blah, blah. So I can explain it to you. I cannot understand it for you. Okay? So this is what happens when because I got a comment that just really frosted my ass about Wednesday's stream. And this is what I do. I block you and I delete your comment because, excuse my French, I don't give a shit what you think. You don't hang out on the channel. You don't watch our videos. You don't watch the stream. So why would I give a shit what you think? I don't. So it's like, so just so people understand that. I'm in a good mood. I'm not in a bad mood or anything. It's every once in a while I have to point this out because strangely enough, and it just gets worse. People out there are like, for one, everybody's a critic. And people who don't, do anything are the first to tell you how things should be done. And it's like, I don't have time for it. I'm like, whatever. I read your comment. I've now blocked you and I've deleted your comment. Oh, well, save yourself the trouble. If you want to comment about how you can't stand this, save yourself the trouble and don't even bother posting a comment because it'll be gone anyway. And so will you. Clint Gibson says, don't let it get to you. I'm just pointing this out. I'm just explaining this because I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, I had to wait 32 minutes before I got to see that unboxing. Yes. Look at the show notes. If you're watching on a browser, you can click on stuff to jump ahead. It's like, give me a break. Like I said, once again, I can explain it to you. I cannot understand it for you. I have a t-shirt that says that too. All right, so Nicholas Stanishek has joined us. Doug Roberts is in chat with us as well. Viper Dave has arrived in chat. So is John Vogel. Very cool. All right. So once again, I'm just pointing that out. I'm not in a bad mood at all. I'm in a good mood. I just finished up a review earlier today. I will talk about that as we close out the show. All right, let's jump on into the news because I got a good eclectic mix today. Arriving in stores next month is Little Factory from Yellow Games. Here's what I know. Little Factory, first released as Goods Maker, is a resource management and building construction card game for 2 to 4 players with a playing time of about 30 minutes. Although, strangely enough, the box says 45. The sell sheet info says 30. The box says 45. Players increase their assets by processing resources into other resources, such as turning wood into wood. Really? Isn't wood still wood? Or charcoal. Or turning charcoal and flour into bread. Ooh, that sounds nasty. If you increase your assets, you can build a building and use that building to acquire resources and victory points more quickly. The more buildings players construct, the more actions that become available on future turns. On a turn, players can take one of 2 actions. Production. Choose a resource card or building card in the production action area and gain the item shown on it. Or trade. Discard resource cards from your hand to acquire resource or building cards of the same value or less from the available cards. In addition, players can use the effects of each building they own once per turn, including on the turn during which they were acquired. An example of a building effect is exchanging a thread card in hand for cloth available in the play area. Chain together cards, buildings, and actions to create more victory points. Player who collects 10 victory points wins. Little Factory is for 2 to 4 players ages 10 and up. Plays in, once again, either 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I'm going to take a guess. It's probably around 45. It does carry an MSRP of $19.99 when it arrives next month. This looks kind of fun. I like engine building games. I'm a fan of engine building games. This looks like this is kind of a lightweight engine building game. Although I find it very strange that it's like, hey, take charcoal and flour and make bread. I guess you're burning the charcoal for heat, but wouldn't you use wood for that too? I don't know. I don't know. I do like the art style too. The art style looks pretty interesting. Now, as far as I understand, Goods Maker, which is what this game originally was, had a bit of a different theme to it. It's similar, but not the same. So this is coming next month from Yellow. Arriving this month from Crystal Dagger Games is Crypt of Chaos. Here's the deets. Crypt of Chaos is an exciting new game for 1 or 2 players set in a creepy crypt crawling with creatures. Wow, I like that. Creepy crypt crawling with creatures. Hell bent on preventing you from reaching your goal. Play as one of 6 sensational crypt champions, each with their own unique skill, item, or special ability. Build and explore a new crypt every game by drawing cards from the dungeon deck to reveal floor tiles. Place these create the twisting passages, creepy corridors, and dank chambers of the crypt, revealing monsters, obstacles, and treasure chests as you proceed. You'll need to use skill and cunning and have all your wits about you as you seek out a mysterious lost sword, snatch the key of freedom, and battle your way to the crypt exit. It's one incredible game with 3 thrilling ways to play. Explore the crypt alone in the superb one-player solo adventure. Boy, these guys really love their game. Or team up with a friend to play the game in 2-player co-op mode. Try to win the game with each of the 6 crypt champions before attempting to complete it in chaos mode. No dice, pens, or paper is required. Crypt of Chaos is for 1 or 2 players, ages 13 and up, plays in 30 to 60 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $29.99 when it arrives this month. This sounds kind of interesting. I like, these sorts of games where you're exploring and you're flipping over tiles or cards or what have you. And it's always a little bit different. But one thing I am not overly thrilled with is the art. Unfortunately, this is using stock art. I can tell this is stock art. And I'm just not a fan of this 3D stock art. Now, this was a successful Kickstarter, I do believe. So it would have been cool to have seen, some, like line art or something like that. But don't know. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not awful. I mean, there is some stuff we've seen with those 3D models that are just like, oh my gosh. But this could be kind of interesting. So, Nicholas says, I can turn wood into wood too. So Nicholas is pointing out that the latest video from the current D&D book has over 3,000 views. Yeah. So, gosh, they've been like, he's been keeping track of things. So it's the highest view rate on a product since you returned from your triple bypass. Blowing away then, now number 2 product, Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Yeah, but here the funny thing, and I'll just quickly say this and we'll move on. So there's 2 videos actually. So the first look and the review have totaled about 7,000 views, which for most outlets, that's like, big deal. But I have noticed that it's usually the player-facing books for D&D that get tons of views. So some of the stuff that I've covered that were player-facing books have gotten like 15, 16,000 views. So kind of interesting. All right. So, hey, we're talking about Dungeons & Dragons. There's currently a big Humble Bundle which features Tomes of Lost Magic for 5e. It's from Frog God Games. Here's the deets. Expand your tabletop world with Frog God Games. Sure, you might have the original source books, and sure, you might not have finished that one shot that was only meant to last a session or two. We've all been there. You might even be between campaigns and looking for something new. Wherever you find yourself in your 5th edition sessions, you've barely scratched the surface of what you can explore or imagine. Frog God Games have joined forces with Humble to deliver a bundle of spectacular value, all with the aim of expanding your 5e universe. Within the bundle, you'll discover PDFs like Book of Lost Spells, second printing, Tome of Alchemy, The Red Opera, and Tokens of Horror 2020 that add anything from new towns and places to explore to entirely new spells and monsters to face off against. Your purchase will also help support Hospice of the Northwest and a charity of your choice. You can get started for only $1, or you can go all in, get all 32 items that have a retail value of $449 for a $43 donation. That is a smoking deal. These savings do run through October 14th. So definitely take a peek if you are in the market for more 5e stuff. And one thing, I'm relatively familiar with Frog God Games. I haven't reviewed a ton of stuff from Frog God Games, but I have reviewed Swords and Wizardry, the complete hardcover book, as well as the box set. I like it. I like it a lot. So the thing is, it's kind of like 5e with a first edition feel to it. So they kind of aim, as far as I understand, they kind of aim their 5e books towards old school, right? So it's still 5e, but it's got the feel of like first edition, like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. But I got to tell you, it is a smoking deal. You can jump on board, like I said, for $1 and actually get 9 PDFs. It's pretty sweet. So Nicholas says Tome of Horrors is so good, and Book of Lost Spells is too. All right. Well, since we're still on the subject of Dungeons and Dragons, how about another D&D related news story? Because there's a new supplement for Dungeons and Dragons. It's available from Wizards of the Coast, and all proceeds are going to benefit Extra Life. Here's the skinny on Domains of Delight. Domains of Delight are to the Feywild what Domains of Dread are to the Shadowfell, sequestered realms governed by powerful beings. Whereas a Domain of Dread is ruled by a Dark Lord, a Domain of Delight is ruled by an Archfey, the most powerful of Fey creatures. An Archfey gives form to their Domain of Delight, shaping it in ways unique to their personality. Some Domains of Delight are bright and cheery, while others are gloomy, but each one reflects the emotional state of its ruler. A Domain of Delight can be as small as a few acres or as big as a country. This accessory helps you create Domains of Delight in the Archfey who rule them, building on the information about the Feywild that appears in the Dungeon Master's Guide. The ideas, tips, and tables in this chapter are meant to spark your imagination. Use what excites and intrigues you, discard what doesn't, and make up the rest. All proceeds, once again, from Domains of Delight go to the nonprofit Extra Life, an online grassroots movement working to save sick and injured kids through the power of play. This 36-page PDF is available at DriveThru RPG for $8. And as you can see, it looks pretty interesting. Got some kind of cool artwork. I got to be honest, I don't know if some of this artwork is recycled from other products. It's very possible, but keep in mind, just because it's available at DriveThru RPG, this is a Wizards of the Coast product. So it could possibly be new artwork. So Nicholas says, Domains of Delight is controversial. It was supposed to be part of the recent book, but was cut. Interesting that their product for donation is not on D&D Beyond this year. It's on DM's Guild. I got to be honest, I didn't even run across it on DM's Guild. I ran across it on Drive-Thru RPG as a, hot seller. I don't know if it's a hot seller on DM's Guild. Then again, it's weird. Sometimes you'll have one thing show up on, let's say, Drive-Thru RPG that really should go on DM's Guild, and then it appears, right? It's sort of like, oh, now it's there. So yes, I have heard some people complaining, but this is how I look at it. All proceeds are going to be donated to Extra Life. Once I hear that, then I got no beef. If you got folks out there who are all upset that it wasn't in the book, wasn't in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, which is excellent. My favorite 5th edition adventure from Wizards of the Coast. If you're all upset that it wasn't in there, I don't know what to tell you. Because that adventure is jam-packed with goodness. And this is for charity. But once again, we were talking about, some of these gamers out there, I don't know. It's like Asperger's times 10. All right. Oh, 245 Trioxin has arrived. Good to see you, 245. They point out this time they donate, if it's like magic, this is just the beginning of the DLC model. I don't know. Didn't we kind of touch on that a little bit with the possible 6th edition thing? Some people are saying, oh, it's going to be like a 5.5, and then you'll be able to purchase additional content to plug in as far as like mechanics and that. It's like, yeah, isn't that what it is now? So Nicholas says, yep, donation is charity. Then part goes to charity. Then the new microtransaction model eventually. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see that for D&D. They already have enough of that going on with Magic Arena. All right, moving right along. I got no beef with Wizards. I really don't. But, they're not perfect either. Let's move on to the final news piece, because there is a new Call of Cthulhu campaign. Oh, yeah. It's arrived in PDF from Chaosium Inc. Here's a scoop on A Time to Harvest. Death and discovery in the Vermont Hills. In 1929, a student died during an expedition in the Vermont Hills. 1 year later, the Miskatonic University sent another team on the same expedition. It's Time to Harvest. First released as a 6-scenario organized play series, A Time to Harvest is available now for the first time in a complete and updated tome. The campaign is compatible with both Call of Cthulhu and Pulp Cthulhu rules. Set in the picturesque state of Vermont at the beginning of the 1930s, A Time to Harvest is a 6-part campaign centered on the valley surrounding the sleepy town of Cobb's Corners. A wellspring of resources for the keeper, the book includes a full suite of player handouts, maps, and details on the key locations, preparing you for both the events of the campaign, as well as giving you plenty of information to write your own scenarios set in 1920s Vermont. So wait a second, which is it? 1920s Vermont or 1930s Vermont? A small town nestled in a bountiful valley, Cobb's Corners is a key location in A Time to Harvest. The book details the Vermont town, helping you bring it to life at the tabletop and to give the setting for your games of Call of Cthulhu a rich, lived-in feeling. A Time to Harvest contains new rules and advice for creating student investigators. Additionally, there is information on incorporating existing characters into the campaign by bringing in your investigators that have cut their teeth in other scenarios for Call of Cthulhu. The book includes 10 pre-generated investigators, giving new and eager players everything they need to jump right into the mystery of Cobb's Corners. The book does deal with mature themes, so it is intended for mature players. the 336-page PDF. Yes, you heard that right. 336 pages. So this is a big campaign. It's available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $25.99. Very cool, very nice. I am sure that I will get to see a review copy of this at some point. But yes, I did talk about this during my Gen Con interview when I talked to Rick Meintz from Chaosium Inc. We did chat a little bit about A Time to Harvest, and I did remember that it was part of an official play program. So, sweet. And this is, I guess, expanded and updated and pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'll be looking forward to check that out. Nicholas is looking forward to checking that out too. Says it looks interesting. So 245 Trioxin says that's what they did with Secret Layers in Paper Magic. I'm not sad about it though. It drove me away from Magic, freeing up a lot of money for tabletop role-playing game books. There you go. One door closes, another one opens. Right? See ya. Hello. I'll play like Magic Arena. I have never spent a dime on Magic Arena. I enjoy Magic. I like the game, but I played Magic when it first came out. We were playing with beta cards. So Boris says that their Call of Cthulhu group usually die around page 50. That's why you got to make sure that your adventures only run about 48 pages, including handouts. Then they'll survive. Samuel Tanius, taking a stab at that last name there, says, awesome news about A Time to Harvest, planning to buy the hardcover. Yeah, so I believe, so this is something as far as like Chaosium Inc. If you buy the PDF from them, then they'll apply that to your hardcover purchase later on down the line. So that's why I'm usually kind of between a rock and a hard place when it comes to Chaosium stuff, because of course the Gaming Gang and thus the Dispatch are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites like DriveThruRPG, DM's Guild, etc. So if you are going to visit, be sure to stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you do make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep the Gaming Gang around. That said, I understand that if you are going to get the hardcover of a Chaosium, I need a sip. Went through all that news without taking a sip. Yeah. Tonight I am enjoying zero sugar cranberry ginger ale from Canada Dry. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty tasty. I'm a fan of cranberry juice anyway. So Samuel says that's the plan to buy from Chaosium. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm completely with you on that. I'm also a big fan of companies that provide you with a PDF if you purchase their hardcover or softcover book. If you purchase a physical book, I really think you should get the PDF. I really do. I know there are some companies out there that I work with, they just don't feel the same way. And I don't get it, because it's a digital product. It's not costing you anything to provide that if somebody bought the physical book. Now, I understand that there is cost involved creating a PDF. I get it, but still, you're not really losing anything by giving that away with the physical books. Anyway, all right, so that is it for the news tonight. So some cool stuff on the horizon. Also want to mention, now we're in October, so you can plan on new episodes of the Gaming Gang Dispatch Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central, which makes it 8 Eastern or 5 Pacific. So yes, I'm going to do 3 shows a week. I honestly don't think I'm going to get back to 4 shows a week. Simply because when I was doing 4 shows a week, it wasn't like it was wearing me out or anything. It's just took time away from doing like reviews, because I don't like doing reviews on the live stream because it's super easy for me to lose my concentration because I don't script things outside of like reading the news. And I don't know. I don't like doing the reviews live. It's just kind of strange. Every once in a while I'll do it, but doing the 4 shows, I was kind of like, well, I doing 4 videos a week. Anyway, Boris says, or 9 o'clock Atlantic. There you go. All right. Samuel points out they love companies that support Bits and Mortar. Cubicle 7 Entertainment is one. I know Modifius Entertainment. They do theirs where they actually give you a code in the book that you can go to Drive-Thru RPG and pick that up. Omanal has joined us in chat saying, glad that I am feeling better. Yeah, I'm feeling great. The reality is once I got out of the hospital after the bypass, I felt fine. So, I was out of the hospital 3 days later. So yeah, I feel pretty good. Yeah, I still have some tightness up here, but I understand it'll take like a year before I'm like back to before feeling like I did before. But I have been lucky. I haven't had any of that tiredness or irritability or anything like that. So thank you very much for chiming in. I'm glad I feel pretty good too. So Nicholas says, I love hardcovers best, but today you need to give them the PDF too. So this is the reason why I'm a firm believer that you should get a PDF with the hardcover book, even if like it's Modifius, like they put a code. And that is because a lot of times you have handouts. And what are you going to do? You're going to scan them from the book, especially if it's a bigger book? No. Take a picture with your phone? No. So PDF, easy peasy. Just print it off from the PDF. How I look at it. All right. So without further ado, we are going to be taking a peek at Fate of Phantos, the Iridium Wars from Imp House Game Company and Mondo Games. Designed by Darth Rimmer. I did not realize that we had a Sith Lord designing games. And Travis Watkins with artwork provided by Michael Laricia. The game is for 3 to 6 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in 1 to 2 hours. Does carry an MSRP of $39.99. I do believe that this is available right now as a pre-order. Although the game had been out before. So I think the game originally came out in 2019, but it had been out of print. I think that's what was going on with some of the Mondo games, like The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31. And if you want to learn more about Mondo games, by all means, check out my interview from Gen Con. It was a pretty interesting interview. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera because here we've got Fate of Phantos, the Iridium Wars. I love this artwork. This artwork is so cool. As Nicholas says the same thing. I love this art. Yeah, it's very, very kind of gives me like a 70s vibe, 70s science fiction vibe. And we've got some on the back as well. So let's take the shrink off. And it's kind of interesting because we have like a little, it's like, okay. Like, I don't know why we got that, but. So Omnal says, hope those are real playtimes. Hard to get 3 to 4 hour games that aren't RPGs. Well, it's kind of tough to really get some players to play 3 or 4 hour board games. Unless they're war games and they're war gamers, then that's kind of a given. But all right, so let's jump on in, see what we've got. So we have a rule book. It's like we've got a game board. Let's take a look at the rule book first. It says alien races from across the galaxy have descended upon the great planet of Phantos, the sole location of the coveted resource iridium. Unfortunately, the ever expanding population has resulted in a staggering depletion in planetary resources and rampant conflict between its inhabitants. Rival citadels challenge one another for access to limited iridium stores with increasing ferocity and violence. The plague of unending war and greed has pushed Phantos to the brink of collapse. Stories detailing the deep sickness of Phantos have echoed across space and earned the attention of Zadraz, the cosmic warden. Per Zadraz's decree, an overseer was dispatched to each of the 6 citadels of Phantos with this message: "Hear me, citadels of Phantos. The Iridium Wars have ravaged long enough. Your planet is dying. Its screams have summoned your doom. As cosmic warden and protector of the planets, I deem you defilers. A great expulsion is required to save your planet. Only one citadel will be granted permission to remain on Phantos. All others face exile. Justify your worth and seal your fate." Samuel says they pre-ordered Fate of Phantos in August, and they are looking forward to it. So we've got our game overview. So it's a tableau building game with competitive and cooperative elements. So I kind of understand that we also have the resource of iridium, and I think the more you use the iridium, the worse it is for the ecology of the planet. So showing us the iconography and the citadels. So we have Cult, Enlightened, Feral, Hollow, Marked, and Overseer. Showing the game components and setup. So we create an Acolyte pool and deck. Deal player hands and create the Favored deck. Create the Trials deck. We've got a Fate deck. Sounds like we got a bunch of decks. Create the Reserves and the Trove. And assign the citadels. Talking about playing the game, tasking and untasking. Ah, yeah. You know, there's a thing that you can do with your finger. Usually do it on your screen for your phone or on a tablet. You know that word that you can't use when it comes to card games. You know the word. Here it's tasking and untasking. So we've got the card types and uses. So these are the Acolyte cards. We'll get a close look at the cards. Favor cards, diplomacy cards, cosmic cards, and Zadraz. So we have Fate cards. Key concepts and definitions. Communication. Playing Fate of Phantos requires constant communication and interaction. The Citadel taking the current turn should talk through choices and actions and give other players the chance to respond before moving on to enhance the play experience. So there must be interruptions that you can actually jump in and interrupt. Golden rule: if the text on any card contradicts the instructions of the rule book, the text on the card takes precedence. That is always the case. I have never run across a game that said, if the card conflicts with the rules, stick with the rules. So we've got the phases of play. So we have untask and draw up. So Phantos action, trials, secondary actions, hiring, and discard. So we can, as an action, harvest, war, or tribute. Talking about the actions, harvesting, war, and tribute. War never changes. I always loved the Ron Perlman voiceover for the Fallout games. So we got trials phase. We got secondary actions. So we've got dueling, hiring. Then we got a discard phase. End of the game as Zadraz arrives. So we must probably shuffle that card somewhere into one of the decks. So we've got alternate ways to play. Want more difficulty? Want a longer game? Want a shorter game? So we've got some options there as well. Card clarifications and an FAQ. Cool. This does look very interesting. That's one of the reasons why I had asked for a review copy when I was at the exhibit area for Mondo Games, because I thought, yeah, that looks really interesting. And the artwork looked really cool. All right, so we got a little bit of a game board here. Not a clue what it represents. Not a clue at all. All right, so it's nice thick cardstock here. So we've got that. Let's see what else. Okay, so we got player boards. These are the different factions. We've got some small European-sized cards. We've got, I believe this is the Iridium. I'm not sure what that might be. So we've got little gems. So we got a couple of standees, which I assume are for these. And then we've got a pretty good sized deck of cards here. So let's zoom on in a bit. We're going to get a closer look. As close as I can get here. So these are the factions. So these are the overseers. And then it looks like we've got just essentially a walkthrough of the turn breakdown. We've got the marked. We've got the hollow. It's like this is where you keep your iridium. We've got the feral. You know what else this artwork kind of reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of Heavy Metal. The magazine, not the animated movie. Almost like a Mobius vibe, but not quite. Cool. So there's the art that was on the back. So we've got the cult. So there are the player boards. Here's the little punch board. So looks like we punch out a little area in each of these discs. And then these are the standees. So Omenal says it reminds them of the 1970s Flash Gordon cartoon. You know what? That's a good point, too. It does look kind of like that. That was a good cartoon. It was very unique in that it had a storyline. So Russell Higgins has joined us. Good to see you, Russell. Thanks for swinging on in. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So we know we got multiple decks of cards here. Looks like there's probably about, I'll take a stab, about 104 cards here. Might as well open this one up too. So this is standard playing card size. And this is European size. So if you're going to sit there and be sure to sleeve your cards, you can easily find sleeves for these. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, so This has like a player count on it. So that's that deck. Got cards all have this hand on it. Like a handout. Then we have another which has clasped hands. Okay. Cardstock seems okay. It's not real thick, and it does not have linen finish either. But these should hold up. All right, so we got these 3 decks. But like anything, I always recommend sleeving your cards, even if they are really nice cardstock and they've got linen finishes and things like that. Just because it's super easy to chip and fox a card, and you don't want that. You don't want that. All right, so let's look at this. So I'm taking a guess. Maybe these are the trials. Astral Blight. Bad Blood. Black Tongue. Call of the Kudu. Dark Unions. Ides of Zadraz. Iridium Dementia. Iridium Fever. Maloroid. That's kind of cool. So I'm taking a stab that we get these events that probably take place every turn. Omanal saying they dig the artwork too. Yeah, definitely. Keldon's joined us. Good to see you, Keldon. Reinforcements, Riot, Scorching Rain. Tell you what, there's unique art on all these cards so far. That is one thing that Mondo's known for. They're actually really well known for art. Star Witch, Stimulus, and Zadraz. Game ends at completion of final round. For the remainder of the game, no new trials are drawn. Trials in play remain. And when a Citadel takes it's like a little mountain action, reduce its score by half. At the end of the final round, the word of Phantos is decided. Cool. All right, so these are trials. So these are the trial cards. So let's see. This was the next deck we had with the kind of like uplifted hand. So we got Well Rested, Clever Ruse, Journeyman, Colas Paw, Milfy, Misdirection, Mishap, Noble Lineage, Orb of Page Hood. Once again, a lot of unique art. Of course, there's some of these cards I saw multiples of, as obviously the same art. But got Raid, Revolt, Shell Game, Siegeworks, Skull Lodon, Supply Line, Thaco. I love when games have like something, a character or whatever, something in here named Thaco. Although this has a K, it's not Thaco. But you know damn well where that came from. All right, Well Rested again. Zratus, Council, Duel. So we've got 4 dual cards there. Hearth Tax, Intrigue, another Journeyman, another Mishap, another Noble Lineage. So it looks like it's repeating some of these. A Time of Peace, that was a new one. That's different. Alms, Bled Dry, Camp Followers, okay, Clever Ruse we've seen. Consecrated, that's different. Council we saw, Duel we saw. Envoy, I think, is different. Faith and Fervor. Full Stores. There's that Hearth Tax again. Hogs of War. Hunting Party. And Intrigue once again. So I'm going to take a guess. Maybe this deck are the characters that you can hire, because there is a hiring phase. See what we got. Freeman, Gravedigger. There you go. That's what these are. Highwaymen, Mercenaries, Sherazad, Vizier, Apothecary. Yeah, how about trying to speak English, Jeff? Nope, I refuse to. I refuse to speak English. I speak my own gibberish. Astrologers, Baroness. So far, these all look like they're unique as well. Diver, Drayman, Mummers, Beast Ward, Blacksmith, Bowman, Chieftain, Gong Farmer. A lot of people don't know what a Gong Farmer is. I do. Knight, Quarryman, Astronomer, Famulus, Herzog, Merchant, Navigator, Pioneer, Sacristan, Troubadour, Bailiff, Bishop, Countess, Priestess, Reeve, Sheriff, Spy, Villain. Maybe that was supposed to be villain. Maybe not. Alchemist, Chandler, Chirurgeon, Cook, Marquis, Sapper, Spurviter, Vintner, Brigands, and Executioner. So it looks like they all have some special text, right? So they have a special ability. So as an example, it's showing us a value. So I'm taking a guess that this first one with the mountain, that's probably, wasn't it harvesting? Is that what they called it? Where you're trying to get the iridium. The next has a skull, so I'm taking a guess that's war. And then the chalice is tribute. So those are the values there. I'm not sure what that represents. And then we also have a color scheme and then an icon up here. So I'm curious what the icon might, I think that might represent the faction. And it says, if Navigator is untasked at the end of your turn, transfer to, I'm guessing maybe it's the Iridium. I'm not sure what that little icon means. From the trove to your reserve. So all of these were all unique. There were not any duplicates in throughout this deck. So pretty nice. My interest is peaked. Omanel says that they like the fact each is unique. Yes. I just did a first look at Rift Force, which is from Capstone Games, and I am absolutely not knocking the game at all. I have not played it, but one thing that kind of struck me was that all of the cards for each of the factions, and there's like 10 factions, all had the same exact art. Kind of threw me off a little bit, but I mean, there was different artwork for the faction, but the specific deck that you use all had the same. All right, so let's see what we got here. So these look like, maybe these are just numbers. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3 is what we've got. Wonder if we'll use these cards almost like a die, you know, for results, because it's showing like +1 if such and such faction is your citadel. That's what each of these is showing. So looks like we've got quite a few ones. We got 3 1s, 2 2s, and a 3 for each of the factions. And it's like, okay, so this is worth 1, but you get a +1 if your faction is the purple faction. So that's what So that is what these are. These represent the factions up there. So I would take a stab. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the case or not, that we actually would separate out that faction's cards for their deck. I don't know. I don't know. Probably not, because this is a tableau builder. And that would be more along the lines of a deck builder if you were starting off with just, like a basic deck. All right, so we've got a cool insert too. So we got an insert in the box. So we've got the 3 different decks of cards. We've got the small European sized deck of cards. We've got these red gems. Maybe they represent like a certain, like maybe these are 5 iridium or something like that, and these are the iridium. Could be something along those lines. So we've got that. We've got the player boards for the different factions right there. Got a couple of standees. We've got a little punch board. Got a player board as well. And then the rule book, which looks like it's pretty concise. And that is what we find when we take everything from Fate of Phantos, the Iridium Wars, outside the box. I, of course, will have a review of Fate of Phantos in the very near future. This looks very interesting. I'll be the first to point out that when I reviewed the thing, Infection at Outpost 31, I was not expecting much. Now, granted, it was coming from USAopoly, the op. It was USAopoly at the time, and Mondo. And it was kind of like, I don't know, it's licensed. John Carpenter classic, cult classic film. I was like, and I was like, wow, we were really impressed. We enjoyed it a lot. So this could be kind of interesting. And of course, the artwork's very, very cool. Definitely like the artwork. All right. So once again, do want to point out that the Gaming Gang is being brought to you by RockCon 2021. That's right. It's running October 22nd through the 24th in Rockford, Illinois. There's going to be wargaming, miniature gaming, role-playing games, board games, you name it. It will be going on at RockCon. I will be there myself, at least the 22nd and 23rd, I know for a fact. I don't know if I'll be there on the 24th because that's my birthday. So I might actually be heading back to the homestead for my birthday. All right. So that is it for this time out. The Madman says that Fate of Phantos is definitely worth taking a look at. Yeah, it's like I said, it's looking pretty interesting. Anyway, so that's it for this time out. I do want to talk about what's coming up on tomorrow's show. Kind of a special treat, something unusual. So I have 2 prototype games from Daily Magic Games, who do the Valeria games. In fact, I just reviewed Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. Really liked it. I did a preview for the Kickstarter for that. So these are 2 games that are going to kickstart, and I believe they're part of the same Kickstarter. We're going to take a peek at these tomorrow and see what's cooking. See what's cooking with these. So we're going to actually get kind of a jump on taking a look to see what these look like. One thing I will point out, of course, once again, this is just, I don't want to say prototype, but it's just like a preview. But Daily Magic usually does a pretty good job of getting close to what the final product is going to be. So I will mention that. So that's on tomorrow's show. As far as Wednesday's show, we're going to do some sort of RPG stuff. I just don't know what yet, because I got loads of RPG stuff. So, which is cool with me. But be sure to swing on by thegaminggang.com tomorrow because I'll be sharing my review of the Midgard World Book for 5e from Kobold Press. And this is the 800th review on the Gaming Gang. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Don't forget, I am in the midst of the Gaming Gang October Spooktacular 2021. So you'll find new videos each and every day, at least one, over on thegaminggang.com. Of course, if it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I am streaming the Dispatch at 7 p.m. Central. And each and every evening this month at 9 p.m. Central, swing by thegaminggang.com and check out an episode of an old-time radio show that I'm hosting. It's going to be spooky, kids. It's going to put a chill down your spine. I already have a few episodes up, so all month long. So enjoy. All right. Of course, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live right here on YouTube, it'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as the aforementioned review of the Midgard World Book. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Everybody who watched live, thank you very much. Always appreciate people taking some time out to watch live and engage in chat and kind of keep me company so I don't feel like a complete doofus. But then again, I know there are people out there who just can't watch live. I get that too. So I appreciate each and every one of you who tunes in and checks out any of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel. So I will be back tomorrow. Once again, we're going to take a peek at some previews of 2 games coming from Daily Magic Games. And of course, until then, here's hoping each and every one of you have a great night. And hopefully, maybe get a chance to enjoy some gaming with your very own gang. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel. And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.